Good evening, it's Thursday, this is XS Manchester, and welcome to the Full-Time Devils Takeover. It happens every Thursday, 6 till 7, and I'm joined this evening by Webby. Good evening, Webby.
Evening, Joe.
How are you? We've got Chris as well. Well, we can't call you the new kid, because, well, you technically are. You're making your debut.
Absolutely.
You're doing a Sanchez. I hope you pull one out of the bag.
The new kid on the block. Hi, Joe. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Chris. And Statman Dave. Good evening, Dave. How are you, Dave?
Yeah, good to be back.
I feel like I've not seen your face in a while, Dave.
No, I've been growing a beard, you see, over the winter.
Yeah.
That's been what I've been doing.
Are you started up to the max?
I am, yeah.
Are you ready to talk about Manchester United for an hour?
Exactly that, mate.
We're going to do the fallout of Newcastle. I know we're not going to focus too much on Newcastle tonight because obviously it was a defeat and we try and stay away from them as much as we can, but it brings up some talking points that we know you want to talk about. If you want to get your calls in nice and early so we can get you on the phone and have a chat with our three lovely guests and me tonight, 0345 111 7625. The number should be along your screen, and if you're listening, there it is. I'll tell you again, 0345 111 7625. Get your calls in early so we can get you on and having a chat. What went wrong against Newcastle? We'll be speaking to Dave, who will tell us the stats, and we'll be getting the fans' opinion of Webby, who was down there. And we'll also be looking ahead towards Huddersfield, as well as talking about certain players such as Pogba and our defence. I'm sure our defence will bring up some certain talking points. We want to know your top four, your back four, or if you're playing a back five, let us know in the comments. Your back five or back four defence for United. Who would you start if everyone was fit and everyone was available for Jose Mourinho? Who'd you start? Let us know in the comments or give us a call. Come on air and have your say. Also, we're looking for the top three deadwood players at Old Trafford. The three players you'd get rid of straight away if you were in charge of Manchester United. Who should go? Webby's got some interesting ones, but I'm sure we'll get to that later on. Gentlemen, let's talk then about Newcastle. I've talked too much. Webby, you made the journey down there. Talk us through the day, the 90 minutes of football that you sat through, and why you think it went wrong.
I was going to speak about the time we had in the pub. It was the best part of the trip. No, I seen Chris and Adam outside. I never leave early. Joe was fuming. I was absolutely fuming with the performance. You know, it was like we was playing Newcastle United. No disrespect to them, it wasn't. And the AC Milan team in the 80s, 90s, it was Newcastle who had not won an home game for 4 to 5 months. You know, we had enough chances. Martial should have had an hat-trick. You know, Sanchez rounds the keeper, he should score. And then, but it was just poor, you know, when you can't get over the fact that, and then to top it off, obviously, I'd left the ground and Sam had come to me back on the coach and he said 4 players coming the away and clapping, you know. They just don't deserve the fans sometimes, you know, and it was disappointing all day. It was there for the taking, it wasn't done, and it proves now, well, what I've said, we're 3 or 4 players short and making a good challenge for this league, and it starts with the defence, you know. I'm going to go about that later because I'm absolutely fuming with the pairing at the back. Yep. On Sunday and fuming still.
We are going to get to our back four. If you want to give us a call, that's going to be in the second part of the show. Get your call in now, 0345 111 7625. Chris, your thoughts on the game against Newcastle? What went wrong? And is there any sort of light at the end of the tunnel? Things can improve?
Yeah, I mean, it was, as Webby said, really disappointing performance. Really, really frustrating. I thought the speed or the lack of speed in terms of kind of transitioning from back to front, really, really slow, really ponderous. Just didn't really kick on and get going. I thought the Martial miss was kind of symptomatic and set the tone. Positives, looking at Sanchez, his work rate, his effort, his skill, his intelligence. I think he set the gold standard from the weekend for the rest of the team, for the rest of the season. So that's about the only positive really I could take from the game.
Stats then, Dave. What did you look at the Newcastle game for 90 minutes and what did you pull from it? Is there anything that excited you, and what were the most disappointing things for United that game?
I think that's what's exciting, is that there were chances that were created. Their keeper had an absolute worldie of a game. You know, man of the match by a country mile. You think the save on Carrick, the save on the 1v1 with Martial. But I think for me it's with Lukaku and not bringing Lukaku into play enough. You think what Lukaku did on the ball was incredible. He should have had 2 assists. You know, you think when he drifted wide, crossed it for Martial headed over. But then also you think of the through ball he played to Sanchez rounding the keeper and then feinting to shoot when he should have just put the ball in the back of the net. And the frustrating part was United weren't getting Lukaku the ball enough. I think there's this strange agenda that's going around that Lukaku has a bad first touch. I think in certain situations he's weak when you play the ball to his feet, when there's a defender on his back. But when he pulls off, receives it and then plays out, I think he's very good. And it's just something United need to build on. They need to get Lukaku involved in the play a little bit faster and then allow him to link with Sanchez, allow him to link with Martial. On Martial, I think there's, parts of his game he needs to improve on. Obviously, a very young player, but he has the potential to be the best. The big thing is finishing from that right-hand side. I think that is a little issue that he needs to work on.
Dave, was there anything about our back four that was particularly dreadful in that game? Obviously, we will get onto individual characters, but there were certain elements of the back four that just wasn't good enough, was it?
I think the interesting side is when they're on the ball, I think there's still a touch of Louis van Gaal's about this back four at Manchester United, especially Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling's a player that had a ball a lot. He completed 50 passes in the game, 0 to Romelu Lukaku. One of the things in European football that you want to do from centre-half at the moment is flash it into the centre-forward and the centre-forward to lay it off, and then you move the ball through the final third. That didn't happen through Chris Smalling. You think about Smalling to any of the front three players, that's Sanchez, Martial and Romelu Lukaku, 3 passes. Then you think, okay, well, he's just putting it into midfield then. 6 passes in the entire game to Matic, Pogba or Jesse Lingard. And for a centre-half, you want a bit more. You want someone to break the lines. You want someone to play forward. And with Chris Smalling at the moment, he's just playing side to side. I think it was something like 58% of his passes just went to a defender. It's kind of one of these things where you think United's best centre-backs in recent years, Vidic and Ferdinand, were so good at breaking those lines, playing those risky passes, and I just don't think we're seeing that at the moment from Chris Smalling.
We'll get on to a certain midfield player named Paul Pogba very soon, but we're going to start the ball rolling with a guy called Tom tonight. He's given us a call. Evening, Tom. You're a confused man, are you, Tom?
How's it going, lads? You all right?
Very well, mate. On my screen, it says you don't really know what United's style of play is.
Well, does anybody at the minute? I mean, do you know what? I was at Newcastle weekend, and, I'm not even going to touch on that. That is what it is. Smalling and all them have been the scapegoats again. But when I look at United now and I watch them, what way are we trying to play? Because you look at Liverpool, you look at them idiots in Stockport. They're very good at the minute, but it's not here to stay. They're the new Chelsea, we all know that. But United are here to stay. That's the difference. So, we'll always be up there. So what is our, where do we go from here? I just want to get your opinions, lads.
We'll put that to you. Webber, do you want to go first?
Style?
Pass that to Dave.
Dave, where do we go from here? Tom wants to know.
I think it's about embracing what we are as an attacking side, and I think that's something that we need to find. I agree, the identity is very strange. I think you've got players in there like your Juan Matas that are polar opposite to Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez is a player that very much is cutthroat, very much will take you on, go and attack, and that's what United should be, is this team that is full throttle in the final third, that plays wide and really creates chances. And I think that's the slight difference that we're having between Man United under Fergie and Man United now, is I think we need to switch the play a bit more. Someone like a Paul Scholes coming in, we need a ball player that can switch it from left to right, and that will give us an identity. But at the moment, I kind of agree, it is a lot of different philosophies in there. I think Louis van Gaal was probably the worst thing that's happened to Man United in recent years, and they're still playing like that.
Yeah, listen, I want to touch on that, what you say there. I do agree with what you say, mate. But do you know what cuts me up? It cuts me up the fact that we're just happy. It seems to me that there's a feeling, right, that we're just all as United fans happy to accept that we're 16 points behind them lot. We know what they are, funded by a load of
that's not rich. I was going to say then. So you're not. Do you just think that United fans at the minute are getting complacent?
I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy if any team's 1 point in front of me. So I'm not happy at all. But you got to put it in the fact that they've played a better football. They've done a lot better than what probably their fans expected, and we've done probably just below what I expected. But I'm never happy if people are goal difference in front of my team. Got to accept it. We need 3 or 4 players to challenge them next year, because they're going to go strong again.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit back, They've already bought a kid already, haven't they, from the kid Fred or something. So they're buying, and we're not doing anything. Well, we're not seeing anything. We've got to start looking now and start buying, and we give 4 to 5 players, and now you can start, and we've got to pay the money whatever these teams want. With Manchester United Football Club, we've got the money there. We're the richest club in the world. Let's spend it. Like I said, we heard about City buying the 2 fullbacks for 100 million. We laughed. He clocked their bad positions, and he went out and sorted it. And we haven't done that. We've still got a load of Fergie's players there. We've got to move with the times. We've got to spend the money.
Exactly. 0345 1117625. Let us know what you're thinking. What is United's style of play? And are you happy as a United fan that we are 16 points behind Manchester City? I'm sure you're not. So give us a call. 0345 1117625. I'm going to say his name is Glued. Hello? Oh, I can't see
Yeah,
it.
my name is Guled.
Guled, I'm sorry, Guled. That was my fault. Guled, you want to speak to us? You want to speak to Full Time Devils? Have your say.
Yeah, I want to talk about Pogba's form, and I think he should play in the midfield three. Like Jose, I don't know why he keeps substituting him. Like I know he's playing poor, but like what's it called? He's gonna knock his confidence, and yeah, I think there's a problem between Jose and what's it called, Pogba. Like if he's not careful, Jose, I think he could lose the dressing room.
And you worried about going into Europe and in the Champions League? Are we going to be strong enough, do you think?
I don't think we'll win it this season because we don't have the players to win it, and also we're not playing well at the moment.
Sorry to button about that. We were speaking before off air about Pogba's best position. At Juventus, he played on the left of the three, superb. He plays at Everton this year and at Arsenal away. Sets up 2 goals. Man of the match in both games. Now, I work on the railway, I can see that. So surely the kid who's living in the Lowry Centre or whatever pound a day with his own chef should be able to see that. Play him in his first, and there's no problems. The press are going to make a big deal because it's Manchester United. Don't just play him in his proper position. The left of the three, there's no problems with the kid. But
I think one of the reasons why he's not playing midfield three because of Ander Herrera's form. Like earlier this season, he tried against Stoke and we drew 2-2. I think after that he didn't play midfield three until against Everton. I think that's one of the reasons why. Also, we had injuries to Fellaini, Carrick's been injured, and I don't think he can ride McTominay right now. So I think that's one of the reasons. I think in the summer, if he buys a central midfield, I think he'll play midfield three and Pogba will play even better. But right now, Pogba's suffering because of the formation. But beginning of the season, he did play 4-3 and Pogba was playing all right. So, but I know to get more out of him, you need to play midfield three. But I don't know. Jose lacks 2 defensive midfielders. I don't know why he plays 4-3-1. Why? I don't know why.
Guled, thank you very much for your call. I think one person who might know, Statman Dave, talk to us about Paul Pogba then. Is the light at the end of the tunnel? Can Mourinho get something out of Pogba that many people are saying he's missing at the minute?
Yeah, I think it might be a bit of a reboot now. I think it's time to switch to a 3-man midfield. I think if you look at the stats of Pogba in a 2 versus in a 3, it just paints a story of why Paul Pogba should be higher up the pitch. In a 2, in a 4-2-3-1, Pogba's got 2 assists and 2 goals. Compare that to when he's played in a 3-man midfield, 9 assists and, of course, 6 goals. It's one of these things where it's there, it's obvious. I think defensively, Pogba leaves a bit too much space when he plays in a 2. Then Matic has to cover so much. You look at the game at Wembley recently against Tottenham, they had 3 players behind Paul Pogba in a way. They all drifted sort of centrally to just the left-hand side behind Pogba, and that caused United so much problem. I think in a 3, like we sort of mentioned, Webby talks about Juve, he was so good in a 3, in 2 systems, in a 3-5-2, and of course a 4-4-2 diamond when they got to the Champions League final. And you see what Pogba does in those teams, and you see how confident he is, and where he's receiving the ball, and all sorts. And I think United either need to maybe stick with Scott McTominay or look in the summer to sign someone that can complement that, be it someone that works hard, be it someone that's physical like a Fellaini type player, or a ball player. And I think it's a bit of a situation that Mourinho needs to fix, and maybe right now he doesn't have the tools to play that system, and maybe that's why he's not playing it. It's because he thinks throwing someone like a Sanchez at number 10 may give United a little bit more in the final third, but I think it's pretty plain to see Pogba in a 3 is what you want to do.
What about his sort of mentality, Webby? Do you think he looks like he's trying to give it all for Manchester United? Some criticism is that he isn't committing himself as much, or he isn't breaking a sweat.
I've seen that Craig Burley make a comment on him about him. I just had to laugh, what he said, Don't get me wrong, the way he struts about, that's just him. You know what I mean? But like Dave was saying and Chris will say, you play him in that position, there's no problem. He can strut all about. He'll win you the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One little pass, 2 little pieces of magic in the 90 minutes will win you the game. Obviously, we're getting frustrated at fans because obviously we're not winning, and people are going to, oh, well, he's not playing here, he's stuck in this, he's not doing that. But I've got no problems with it. He'll come good, and I said within 2 or 3 years' time, he will be the best midfield player in Europe, and I'll stick by that if he's played in the right position.
I think there's an interesting side today. Didier Deschamps came out and said, Pogba can play higher up, he can play further back. I'm not going to build my team around Paul Pogba. he's part of it, whether in a 3 or in a 2. That's really interesting because Didier Deschamps, for me, has failed as France manager. Not winning the European Championships, leaving Antoine Griezmann out, as not playing him as a number 10 until they beat Iceland and he stumbled on that formation. And it seems like Didier Deschamps is butting in here to make a point about how he doesn't build, a team around a player. You should do that. If you've got someone that's £89 million worth of talent in central midfield, like Webby's saying, that's going to be one of the best in the world, why are you not already constructing the whole sort of team at the moment around that? He's still young, still going to improve. It just seems a bit strange that Didier Deschamps wants to come out now and say, look, my French team doesn't, we don't bend down for Paul Pogba. It's sort of like, are you just trying to make a point?
Before we get to Stuart, I just want to play this little short clip from Monday night. It involves Mickey Thomas, former United player, and a caller asked him a question. Hopefully this should work.
Mickey, do you think the team lacks captains? If you look at previous teams, there wasn't just one captain on that pitch. There was one in pretty much every position. You had your Roy Keane, you had Rio and Nemanja Vidic at the back. You had, even up front, you had like Wayne Rooney and players like that who would drag the game through when you needed them to, because Fergie wanted that. He wanted captains in that team. And there should be leaders there. Pogba has had the captaincy armband. Obviously, Valencia's got it, but they seem to lack leadership. There isn't a leader in the
I would go for Sanchez. I'll go for Sanchez because he's a winner. You can see with his aggression, the way he gets frustrated in the game against Newcastle. He wants that ball. He wants the players to be a little bit more quicker in the tempo of the game. I wouldn't go. Well, Pogba is the captain and Valencia has been the captain, but for me, I'll go for Sanchez.
So that was Mickey Thomas there making his point about who he thinks is a new leader. Mickey Thomas, former United player, talking about what he's seen, and he's saying that Sanchez could potentially be a new leader for Manchester United, a new captain for United. Webby, what are your thoughts on Mickey Thomas's comments?
After Sunday's show, he's probably right. He's probably one of the players who was fighting for 90 minutes, getting frustrated. But we were saying, is that a thing gone now in the game, all these leaders, players? You look at every team had a decent leader who could play a bit, was an hard man. I think it's just gone now, because if you look at, just say for the fact of Liverpool over the years, they had hard men, and now they've got Henderson as captain, who's not going to really hurt you in physical or playing football now. If you look at us, like the kid was right, the big point for us, we lost Vidic, Evra and Ferdinand, 3 massive leaders out the back 4, Then we've lost Keane before that. We replaced Robson with Keane. We do need a leader. We need someone to get us going. And you'd see Rooney in matches for United when it wasn't going right, cheering the other players up. I don't see that at all now off anybody. I don't see it at all, off anybody in that current team. If we go behind, are we geeing him up? You know what I mean? I'd love a new Roy Keane, but who's he about? They're talking about Vidal. That's 4 years too late for me. He's had bad injuries. He's coming up to 30. I know that's not old in the game, but we do need a leader. Like the lad was right. We had 8 or 9 leaders a few years back.
I just want to, before we go to the break, we need to take a quick break. We've got to speak to our regular Lukaku man. Stuart's gave us another call. Stuart, you just want to talk to us about Paul Pogba. What does he need to do for you?
Hey, okay, boys, you alright?
I'm alright, mate. How are you doing, Stuart? Tell us about Paul Pogba.
Well, I watched the game at the weekend, and we've got to buy 2 centre-halves in the summer. He's got to go and buy 2 central defenders. I don't care. We need 2 centre-halves in that team to come in, because the lots of defenders we've got, in my opinion, compared to the world's best, well, Manchester United we're talking to beat A&A. We want to be the world's best. We want to be winning the big cups. We need 2 bloody centre-halves coming in who know the jobs of what they're doing, because the ones we've got, Jones and Smalling, for me, they've got to go now. For me, they've had the time, and we want to be winning the big cups. They're not good enough. Let's look at them individually. Are they as good as what the other teams have got in Europe defensively, what they can do in the game? They're not good enough when you compare them to the others. The world's best, your Barcelona, your Real Madrid, them lot over the road. I'm not too sure they get in that team.
Stuart, can I just put in there, mate? I've done you spot on what you're saying again as normal. I've made a list here of a few of the top teams in Europe, their centre-half.
we might have to go to a break. We might have to tease this because we've got to go to a little break now where he's got a list, right? Stuart, thank you for your call. Webby's got a list and he's going to reveal that list. What is the list, Webby?
I've just picked centre-halves from the top teams in Europe
and we're going to compare them to United. So the next section of the show is going to be all about our defence. Give us a call now. We've got a lot of people waiting for us. Tommy's going to be on after the break. Give us a call, 0345 117 625. Your best defenders, what is happening, who you want to bring into Manchester United. Webby's got a list. All of that coming next. This is Excess Manchester Football Social. It is the Full-Time Devils Takeover. We've teased you long enough. Let's get to it. It is the Full-Time Devils takeover of Excess Manchester. And Webby, we want to bring up, and this whole section now is going to be about our defence. Webby, you want to bring up some points. Right. You've been scouring Europe.
The
elites back four.
Before I start, a big shout out to Davey Huff, massive listener. He's my girlfriend's dad. Listens every night. I'm going to get him in one night.
Bring him in.
Knows his football. He might take my job though. No, he can listen. Right, no, we speak. Obviously, we're going to go on about the performance. Dave's got all the stats from the performance of Stadler and Waldorf up at Newcastle. You know, but I look at these top teams around Europe. Yeah, you've got Hummels and Kim at Bayern, superb. Can play the game, can play it out. Then you've got PSG, Thiago, Marquinhos, Juve, Chiellini and Marquinhos, and you've got Madrid, you've got Ramos, Varane, and we've got Gump and Shirley. You know, we're the biggest club in the world, and I said before about, you look at your best centre-halves from me growing up there. I had to, unfortunately, to watch Alan Hansen, who was a great centre-half, you know, and I've watched Baresi and Costa Curtin and Maldini, you know, and if you're a great, and then in other days, Ferdinand and Vidic, and other top players, if you're a defender, all these top players stay on the feet until the last minute where they have to dive in. And these two clowns are never off the deck, you know, and they shouldn't be at our club, mate. I'm telling you right, we're not going to win anything with them two in our team, and they've got to go. You know, who's going to buy him? It's going to be very, very hard. They're both on big contracts, but for me, you know, Small in there, he brings the ball out of defence, and then that dive would have been all right over in wherever these Winter Olympics are now. They would have got a full 10. And as a United fan, stood up in the stand and seeing that was absolutely disgraceful. And from that free kick, they got the goal. You know, pinked the back post, probably not jump, big open thing. But the gaps between the two big. You know, I could stay here all night, and they shouldn't be in our team.
Chris, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree with everything Webby said. Watching it at the weekend, and not just at the weekend, right? I mean, I kind of look at Smalling and Jones when they're together, and it's like when I was a kid watching Doctor Who behind the sofa. You know, you're kind of looking at the game through your fingers and thinking, you know, what's going to come next. There's really, just when you watch them playing, no kind of confidence that they're giving to me. That there's an accident or an error just waiting to happen. I think the way I would characterise it with the pair of them is they're always a couple of games away from being good, but usually in that game you end up getting a really catastrophic error, whether it's an own goal or whether it's giving away a penalty.
We've got Tommy on the line, but he wants to come to the defence of Smalling. Tommy, you there, mate?
All right, boys.
How you doing, Tommy? You well?
Yeah, I'm good.
What are you making then of our defence? You take the lead.
I'd just like to say that I don't. This is the first time I've ever phoned in a talk show. I listen to it all the time, but I've never had the courage or whatever to phone in. But I've been listening to the boys tonight, and I'm absolutely like raging that I've had to phone in. So my point is about the defence is you've got to get in your head if you want. We've got defensive defenders, and what I mean by that is you've got your likes of John Stones of this world who are ball playing defenders, and we've got like us, which I agree they're not good at passing out from the back, but we've got the best defence. We've conceded the least amount of goals in the league. I'm not only this season. I know a lot of people would say, well, a lot of that's down to De Gea.
Of course it is. Down to De Gea, mate. These defenders, sorry, mate, these defenders are not good enough to play for Manchester United, period.
Just let me finish.
We'll give Tommy's chance. Go on, Tommy.
So this, not only this season, but over the last 4 seasons, the United have conceded the least amount of goals of any Premier League team. We're getting linked with Vertonghen. Was it Vertonghen from Tottenham? Is it Vertonghen? Alderweireld. If you look at over the last 4 seasons, we just don't. We have got the tightest defence. We've conceded. I know, like you say, it's De Gea. There's a few defenders, you know, in there who are doing their job, but our centre-half partnership, Smalling and Jones has been the main partnership. Before that, it was Smalling and Blind that started this good run. I think I'm right in saying that at the start of this season, we nearly beat the record of the clean longest amount of minutes before we conceded a goal, up to Ferdinand and Vidic. I would be very careful. I agree with what Webby's saying. If you want the United to be a team that plays out from the back, them two lads, most of the defenders we've got, I mean, Mourinho's criticised Baylor for the way he plays out from the back, his criticised role. We haven't got that. We have got defenders who defend, and that on goals conceded, not just this season, but over the last 4 years, you cannot argue with the amount we have had the tightest defence. But where we lack in them 4 years, for me, is not once in them four years have we finished in the top 4 of goals scored. Not once, with 30 goals
Statman Davey, he's taking your job here, mate.
I think it's
good points, Tommy.
It's an interesting point. I think what sort of Webby brought up in terms of David De Gea. David De Gea has made the second most saves in the Premier League this season to a Swansea keeper. So I think in terms of the United defence, it could be better. It could be improved in terms of what they do as a unit. And I think that's kind of the problem for me with Small and Jones is sometimes they don't defend like a unit, and they're allowing these big chances. Of course, David De Gea is unbelievable.
Good. Do you want to make a point, Tommy? Just final point, mate.
Final point. To me, like I say, I mean, I'm not. I agree with Webby in a lot of things he's saying, but I think it's a style thing. If you want the team to play out from the back, then the defenders, not just Smalling and Jones, they're not your men.
I would one of my defenders to carry that ball out and start these attacks quick, to go forward, not go sideways like we got 4 Ray Wilkins in the back 4. You know, and you're right in what you're saying, but so's Dave. Our keepers made the second than Swansea, who are right at the bottom of the league. You know, that's why it's mainly through De Gea.
Yeah, okay, Tommy, I know you said you were nervous.
Good call, Tommy.
Good on you for calling up. Well done there, mate. And you got your points across well. It's caused a bit of divide, and that's what we like. We like to get people's different opinions on. Dave, he was making some good points there, Tommy?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think I agree that there's got to be some sort of defensive centre half in there. Like, if I was going to go down and say there's 2 players in the United squad that could get to that top level, it would be Baye and Lindelof. I think there is a bit of a hole in European football for defenders that can also play out the back. I think there's a real lack of centre halves. You know, you think about the good Italians back in the day, your Nestas, your Maldinis, players that we grew up with. We don't see that anymore. You think Bonucci's the best Italian defender. He's a ball-playing defender that has arguably been a bit exposed playing for AC Milan this season. So I'd say that you've got to stick with someone like Eric Baye and stick with a Lindelof. Lindelof will make a few mistakes, but given that we're second in the Premier League, we're 16 points behind, why not let him make the mistakes this season?
We're going to go to another caller. Zishan is on the line. Zishan, what do you think about what you've been hearing, and do you want to make any other points?
Yeah, one of the points I want to make is I'm seeing, especially from the last game, about Mourinho out. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not like it's 1 or 2 comments. It's around social media, and it's people saying not playing Pogba in the free and the partnership in defence. I don't know why everyone's complaining at the moment, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, well, here's one with the Mourinho out one. Whilst you're still on there, don't worry. If anyone here listening actually wants Mourinho out, give us a call now. 0345 111 7625. We'll get you on towards the back of the show. If you've got valid points and you want to make them, give us a call now. Get on the show and why you want Mourinho out. Sorry, Zishan.
No, it's fine. But shout out Statman Dave and Webber.
Chris and Joe. Cheers, bud.
Chris.
We're the good-looking ones, mate.
Listen, I came on 2 weeks ago, man. It's V, innit? Remember?
Oh, yeah, Z.
Yeah.
Z, what do you want to say today, mate?
Honestly, the game, it was harsh again. Why do I always call him and play bad, man? No, but it was really bad. No, I think Mourinho is a long-term thing, because if you look at managers at the moment, there's not many that will fit in where Mourinho is at the moment. And I think the only good thing about him is he adapts to the game. When it comes to our defensive, yeah, we're second right now. But if we had Baye back, because our best performance defensively was Baye and Rojo. I think we should get rid of Smalling over Jones. I think Jones has put better performances in. But that's the issue. I think we do. I get what people are saying about bringing someone in, but we have that at the moment. We've got Lindelof, we've got Rojo, we've got Bailly.
We've got 2 kids away on loan there, who for me deserve a chance. You know what I mean? Every time I see the kid at Palace,
Fosu-Mensah,
he's man in the match. You know, I've not seen the kid at Villa yet, but apparently by all accounts he's playing well. So let's bring them in, give them a chance.
Yeah.
We've got all the money in the world, but we've got the talent, man. It makes no sense. It's just injuries, and obviously with the youngsters, they want to go play more. That's the only issue at the moment, man. When it comes into talking about Pogba's situation, I personally think he should play in a free. But if you look at last season when we didn't have Matic, he played with Carrick and Herrera. I think we need a Carrick type of player with Matic and Pogba, man. Because even when Carrick came on, he's been out for a bit. He just missed that leadership, and he can control the game. Like Matic can help obviously at the back and play the ball into the front from the back. But I think we need someone like Carrick, man. Someone with leadership, someone that can slow a pace down of a team that's been pressing United. Because our big issue is when we get pressed, we get exposed at times with our defence. They start to panic and they don't know what they're doing. You get what I mean?
Yeah, Z, you're going to come on when we win, yeah? You're going to come on next time when we win?
Listen, I want to come on Full-Time Devils live, man. Put me on the live stream, bro.
Z, thank you very much for your call, mate. Make sure you give us a call when we win. Chris, making some good points there.
Very good points, yeah. Hard to disagree with anything that Z said. I think just to pick up on a couple of things, Dave mentioned already, potentially getting a new player in that midfield area, perhaps in the summer, that then allows Pogba to start playing with that freedom, and I think that's going to be an important change. And another point he made about Mourinho, I think it's great that he signed a new contract. Myself, I think that sends out all the right signals both to the current playing staff and any potential players that we may be going for in the summer. Yeah,
we're going to go to another caller now. Sewa is on the line. Good evening. So what do you want to speak about? You want to speak about Mourinho?
I just want to say that, I think it's down to the way Mourinho coaches a team to attack. That's why Pogba can't really thrive. That's why he keeps playing the 4-2-3-1, because he doesn't value the attacking side of football. He just sees it as, okay, we've got the 2 holding guys and the 4 attackers, and the 4 attackers just run around. Maybe they'll score, maybe they won't. Who knows? And then when we defend as a unit. And that's basically Mourinho. So,
are you happy with that?
With him. Am I happy with what?
Mourinho and the way he's currently sort of managing United.
No, I just wanted to change. I mean, when you watch the game, I don't know how he reacts to this stuff, but for example, when a team is defending deep, we can't break them down at all. There's no width, so I don't see him shouting at players, "Oh, stay wide." He just lets it happen, and then he plays 2. Why play 2 in the middle? This is the most dumbest thing I've ever seen.
How is 2 in the middle like Statman, David? What is it compared to if we played 3 in the middle? Is it just shocking?
No, I think it's if you've got the right players that fit that system and that's how you want to play. I think giving the fluidity to the 4 in front, it's a good thing, but Pogba's just not suited to playing in the 2. I kind of agree in terms of the in attacking sense, Manchester United. I think there's still, again, Louis van Gaal's Manchester United. There's a lot of, when United break, what frustrates me the most is when they come back on themselves. So when they've broken the lines, when they're counter-attacking and they always check back and play that backward pass. Rooney was terrible at it. It's sort of his last season. I think Ander Herrera does that quite a lot. Juan Mata does that quite a lot. And it's because they've been taught a way to play that means that they don't think anymore in terms of, there's an opportunity there's to play a through ball. And I think that reflects in Mourinho at the moment. It's going to take time for that to go. A manager like Louis van Gaal that has such a philosophy, we have to use that word, a philosophy. He drilled it into these guys week in, week out. It's going to take a while for that to unfold and for it to come back. And I think signing players like Sanchez, signing players like Pogba that weren't around with Louis van Gaal is how you move the team on. But I agree, a little bit more width in the final third would be crucial. But I think teams have come to United now with a plan. We sit deep, we could get a result here, and it's about the players being able to unlock that.
Yeah. Right, gentlemen, I'm going to ask you a question now, and you're going to give me 3 names, but then you're not going to explain why. You're going to explain to me why after the break. The 3 players, the deadwood players that you'd want to get rid of Manchester United. Chris or Dave, you want to go first? Because I'm going to leave Webby to last. Just the 3 names of the deadwood players you think aren't good enough for Manchester United. Dave?
This is a tough one. I'm going to say maybe Marouane Fellaini. I'm going to go with Daley Blind. and I'm going to go with Chris Smalling. Very tough. I like all the players in the squad. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I think there's a position for a lot of them.
Yeah, we'll explain after the break, Chris.
There's only 3. Okay, Smalling for me. I'm done. Fellaini, and I probably would put in Darmian, I think, in there.
Webby, you're next.
That's across 8 players then.
You're next, and I hope you say the ones that you said outside.
I can't remember what I said. I said obviously Fellaini, Smalling. I can't think of my foot. No, I can't. No, I've changed my mind. Jesse Lingard.
You said Jesse Lingard.
That'll bring him in. Phone. I said Jesse Lingard.
0345 177
I'm only joking.
No, you're not. Webby. The players you want to see leave Old Trafford. Get your calls in anyway. We'll be previewing Huddersfield right after this.
The X.
We are back and we're talking about Manchester United for the next 8 minutes, unfortunately. Make sure you get your calls in and have your say. We're going to be previewing Huddersfield in just a second. Dave, we talked about Deadwood beforehand and people getting in the comments. Who do they want to see leave Manchester United?
There's a lot of defenders going in the list at the moment. Michael Collins, Jones, Darmian and Fellaini. Obviously Fellaini being a midfielder. Danny Bradley going with Young, Smalling, Darmian out. Tom Hume with Fellaini, Damien and Lindelof. Lindelof, a bit of an interesting one because he's not really been there long enough to be giving him the boot now.
Lindelof, what would you make of that?
Got to give him game time. You know what I mean? Some games this year, he's played him at right back. You know, for me he's a centre half. But if you look at his comments today, I think he'd play net for us if he gets a game. You know, the kid's determined to make it. Just want to go back on one thing as well regarding Noel Shaw at Newcastle. Found it very, very strange after the manager come out and praised him, and then he doesn't get on. You know. And for me, we look so much balanced when Shaw's in the team, and that's no disrespect to Young. For me, I feel sorry for Young. He should be playing on the wing, which is his position. He's not. He's getting a game. But it was very strange that Shaw never started, but there you go. Should imagine he'll start at Huddersfield.
We're going to go to Levy?
Yeah, it's Levi.
Levi, mate. What 3 players do you want to see leave Manchester United?
I'm going to go Fellaini. Fellaini, Chris Smalling, and I think Darmian as well. So far, are probably the players that I'd go for to leave. They're okay, I mean, but you know, they're just not up to, just not Man United standard, to be honest.
Do you agree with Darmian? Darmian's, I mean, Chris, what did you make of that?
I'm right on it. You've given me a full house there, Levi. Totally agree. I think Fellaini moving forward doesn't fit the profile, if you pardon that Van Halism.
I mean, he's done the job a few times, but he's not just the quality that we need. I don't think he's come in and saved us quite a few times, but I mean, I can clearly see him playing for like a team like Stoke and all that. But you know, when you have a team, you know, that you want to have playing fluid football, free-flowing football, I don't think Fellaini fits the bill, to be honest. I don't hate him or anything. I'm really happy the way, you know, he pulled his socks up even after, you know, he got some stick from the fans and all that. But I'm just saying, if I had to choose, them 3 would be the ones I choose.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, Levi, thank you very much for your call. He's had his say, as well as the people on YouTube and Facebook who are watching. We now got our penultimate caller, Joseph. You've got an opinion on Mourinho, Joseph?
Yes, I do. I don't think Mourinho is the right manager to take us forward as far as I'm concerned. Because, I mean, he's always saying that he needs more money to buy new players. And I just don't think throwing money at our situation right now is the solution. Because I think we've got all the players we need. We got all the talent we need. We got Sanchez, we got Pogba, we got Lukaku, we got Martial, Rashford. I mean, these guys are world beaters individually. It's just about having the right manager to just take these guys together and make them play as a cohesive unit, and that's it. I mean, Ferguson didn't have all this world-class talent. I mean, maybe some, you know, but not everyone in Ferguson's team was world-class. But that didn't mean that he couldn't win his Champions League or the Premier League. So I just don't think Mourinho has it.
You also got a point there, gentlemen, about there's always that famous team that Ferguson put against Arsenal that beat him 8-2, and Ferguson didn't always have the world-class players, but he got the results. He grinded out the results.
Look at 8-2 game. Arsenal's team was ripped by injuries and suspensions, you know. But just going to what you said, if you look at all the top teams around the world now, all your big hitters are top of the league. They threw money at it. I don't like throwing money at it, but City's done it, PSG has done it, Munich have done it, Barcelona have done it. You've got to throw money at it. Nothing more I'd love kids coming through. Nothing more, but today you need the end result, bang.
Yusuf, what would you do next then if you were the CEO of Manchester United?
I think we just need to get a very attacking coach in. I think someone that understands how Manchester United should play. I don't see Mourinho changing. I don't think he will change. I mean, this is it. This is how we're going to be playing football now. I mean, look at, for example, the game Porto versus Liverpool. If it was Mourinho's team that went to Porto and scored maybe 2 goals ahead in the first 30 minutes, that's it.
Would you be an unhappy United fan if Jose was still in charge of United next season?
Well, I haven't made that decision yet, but judging by how we've performed for the rest of the season, I don't think I will want Mourinho there by the next season. No.
Yusuf, let me ask you a question. You say Mourinho don't really want him around, so we churn Mourinho on in the summer. He's just bought how many players? New manager comes in, we churn a few more players. I mean, this is kind of more of the same, right? We've just had 3 years where we've been churning managers. Do you not think we need some kind of consistency now as we move forward?
As long as he's willing to listen to the fans and play the kind of football we want to see each week, I don't think he's going to last at Manchester United. We need to see attacking football on a consistent basis. It's like hard labor watching Manchester United now. It's hard labor.
Well, but you're feeling the same thing, aren't you? When you go to Newcastle away, it's hard for you to watch, isn't it? Like Joseph is saying.
Joe, no, listen. After Fergie left, I had to watch 3 years. I slung myself in that ship canal every other week. I was never dry. And then under Van Gaal, I refused to go in some games because it was that boring. Now, get behind the manager. He was left with a bad squad. It's not going to. Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, we've got to get players. He could see what he wants to bring in. I think I'm going on about it. Perisic was a major blow for United this year. We had Perisic in. Lukaku had another 5 or 6, 10 goals by now.
Yeah.
You know, so just back the manager. If you don't want to back the manager, go.
Well, Joseph, thank you very much for your call. Maybe if the results don't go our way in the next couple of weeks, you give us a call back. Maybe we always love to have you on.
Please.
You spoke well there. Now to preview Huddersfield. Huddersfield away. Not the game United fans would have expected. Not the result United fans would have expected in 2017. We go back. Statman Dave, what can you tell us about the game? Is it going to be a trip to Wembley on the horizon for United in the FA Cup?
I would have said, if United played them last week, I would have been like, yeah, 100%. But they beat Bournemouth, who were the form side in the Premier League last weekend, and they performed really well. Meunier, their striker, very, very good forward, and he just come back to fitness, grabbed 2 goals and an assist last weekend. But I think the key to is not getting caught in Huddersfield's pressing trap. We did in the game, of course, Juan Mata with that bit of a dodgy touch. They jumped on it, counter-attacked and scored. And that's the big thing. It's not allowing them to be in that situation. So United need to be better on the ball. And honestly, structurally wise, having a 3-man midfield would help against Huddersfield.
I've just got one more caller on who wants to just get his say. Yakub is on the line. And you want to talk about the Huddersfield game as well as we're doing now. You're starting 11. It doesn't have one man in it. And who's that one man?
Lukaku.
You drop Lukaku?
Yeah. Drop Lukaku.
Would anyone else drop Lukaku?
No, I don't. I seen some things on social media saying how poor he was on. I thought he was okay.
Dave,
it was good.
Why would you drop Lukaku, Yakub?
So for me, every time like anyone gives a cross to Lukaku, he's too slow to get onto the ball or anything. So with Lukaku, or like you see Sanchez, he's trying to drive up the pitch, and like most of the players are trying to drop back, and you have Sanchez trying to bring the ball forward. And Lukaku, he's just too slow. He can't even pass the ball that well. And if he can't pass the ball or make a run, what can you do?
So I think in terms of 2 prime examples of Lukaku showing his technical ability, you think about the Newcastle game, the switch out to Sanchez, 30-yard pass, plays it out, gets into the penalty area, creates a good chance, Sanchez obviously with his skill, but that's Lukaku switching the play. Think about the through ball that he played for Sanchez, the weight, the timing, waiting for the moment to play it through the channel between the centre halves. Lukaku is a very, very good footballer, but United aren't including him enough. I think in terms of Huddersfield, how you play through their press, it's playing it direct to Lukaku, and that's what United need to do. In terms of his technical ability, I just think it's crazy. In terms of like unsuccessful touches in the Premier League, Lukaku has got fewer than Dele Alli, than Firmino, than Mo Salah, than Morata. These are all technical players that you expect to have a better first touch than Lukaku, but the fact is Lukaku's been better than those guys. So it's this weird narrative that's coming around that Lukaku can't play football, and it's madness.
Chris, we've got about a minute left. Are you expecting a United win on the weekend?
I think it'll be tough, but I think the result will be different than when we played them in the Premier League, and I fully expect United to go through.
You got a prediction?
I'll take 2-0.
2-0. Webby, you expecting a trip to, obviously Wembley on the horizon, FA Cup, expecting to win it?
I don't know, expect to win the Cup. I expect us to win on Saturday. It'll be an hard game, but we play our football, play the right players, do everything right. We win 3-1, Joe. Mm-hmm. So no, we wasn't. I made the statement going up there when I was unfortunate to go up there in the league game. Huddersfield wanted it more. The crowd was up for it. The players were up for it, and deservedly beat us 2-1. But we've got to. It's going to be the same again on Saturday. There's going to be more United fans there. We'll have the full back end. It's going to be great. So let's just play football. We'll win
3-1.
We'll 3-1.
Dave, what are you going for, Dave?
4-0.
4-0. Dave's going 4-0. Yeah. Gentlemen, the time is up. We've spoken to you, gave us your calls. Thank you very much. If you didn't get through this week, try again next week. We'll try and get you on, hoping to talk about a win against Huddersfield. Thank you very much to Chris, Webby and Statman Dave. Make sure you subscribe to Dave and to Full Time Devils as well. Thank you very much for being part of the show. We're back next Thursday. Jim is up next with Catfish at the bottom end, the Jam and the...